some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. Today's video will be playing around with the deck of Dr. Vellian Crowler from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Don't forget to leave like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff to Talkative Carl on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And don't forget to follow me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/talkativecarl. Anyway, yeah, I've been wanting to get around to this for weeks now. But once I got through a couple of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D characters, yeah, Crowler was coming up. He has an Ancient Gear Golem deck technically, but upon a few bit of research, he also included like red, green, and yellow gadget that works well with. What is that? Anytime I didn't have oh well, I was about to say Stronghold is a child card here, but it's okay, because you also get, yeah, this is the right one. Ancient Gear. Well, I'll read it once we go through these cards, but yeah, we'll go over about Crowler as a character and his arc throughout Yu-Gi-Oh! GX in a moment. But let's get to his cards, his magic cards. 1 second, get something to drink. Ancient Gear Castle. All Ancient Gear monsters gain 300 attack. Each time a monster is normal summoned or set, place one counter on this card. If you tribute summon an Ancient Gear monster, you can substitute this card for a tribute if the number of counters is equal to or greater than the number of required tributes. Ancient Gear Drill. If you control an Ancient Gear monster, discard one card, set one spell card directly from your deck. This turn, that spell card cannot be activated. Ancient Gear Explosive. Target one Ancient Gear monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half its original attack. Ancient Gear Factory. Reveal one level 5 or higher Ancient Gear monster from your hand, then banish a number of Ancient Gear monsters from your graveyard whose combination levels are double the revealed monsters. And if you do, if you normal summon the revealed monster this turn, you must normal summon it without tributing. Okay, Ancient Gear Fist. Equip only to an Ancient Gear monster. At the end of the damage step, if the equipped monster battled a monster and is still on the field, destroy the monster it battled. Effect. Alright, I really want Stronghold. I need more trap cards anyway. There you go. Ancient Gear Tank. Equip only to Ancient Gear monster. It gains 600 attack. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, inflict 600 damage to your opponent. Ancient Gear Workshop. Target one Ancient Gear monster in your graveyard. Return that target to your hand. Confiscation. Pay 1000 life points. Look at your opponent's hand. Select one card in it and discard that card. Heavy Storm. Destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. Magnetic Circle level 2. Supposed to summon one level 2 or lower machine type monster from your hand. Yeah, this deck, upon research, is helps trying to get your higher Ancient Gear monsters on the field as best as possible, especially Ancient Gear Golem. Spell Gear. Send 3 Ancient Gear cards you control to the graveyard. You can special summon one Ancient Gear Golem from your hand and one from your deck, ignoring the summoning conditions, and destroy all monsters you control except Ancient Gear Golems. You cannot normal summon or set until the end of your next turn. Damage Condenser. When you take battle damage, discard one card. You're supposed to summon one monster from your deck with attack less than or equal to the battle damage you took in face-up attack position. Fusion Reserve. Reveal one fusion monster in your extra deck. Add one of the fusion materials listed on the card from your deck to your hand. Then add one polymerization from your graveyard to your hand. Rivalry of the Warlords. Each player can only control one type of monster. Send all other face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. Statue of the Wicked. When this face-down card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, it's supposed to summon one Wicked token who's a Fiend type Dark, level 4, attack 1000 and defense 1000 on your side of the field. Stronghold of Moving Fortress. Supposed to summon this card in defense position as an effect monster. Machine type Earth, level 4, attack 0, defense 2000. While you control green, red, and yellow gadget, this card gains 3000 attack. Zero Gravity. Change the battle positions of all face-up monsters on the field. And the monsters. Ancient Gear. If you control an Ancient Gear, you can special summon this card from your hand in face-up attack position. Ancient Gear Beast cannot be special summoned. Negate the effects of an opponent's monster destroyed by battle with this card, including in the graveyard. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. Ancient Gear Box. If this card is added from the deck or graveyard to your hand, except by drawing it, you can add one Earth Machine type monster with 500 attack and or defense from your deck to your hand, except Ancient Gear Box. You can only use this effect once per turn. Ancient Gear Cannon. You can tribute this card, inflict 500 damage to your opponent, and if you do, neither player can activate trap cards during the battle phase of this turn. Ancient Gear Engineer. Negate any trap cards that target this card, and if you do, destroy that trap card. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. At the end of the damage step, if this card attacked and is still on the field, target one spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy that target. Ancient Gear Gaidrian Chimera. This card gains corresponding effects if you normal summon it by tributing these monsters. If you tribute summon, use Green Gadget as a tribute, this card gains 300 attack. If it was Red Gadget, when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent by direct attack, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. Or if it was Yellow Gadget, if this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict 700 damage to your opponent. Ancient Gear Gaidrian Dragon. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. This card gains corresponding effects if you normal summon it by tributing these monsters. Green Gadget. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Red Gadget. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, inflict 400 damage to your opponent. Yellow Gadget. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict 600 damage to your opponent. Ancient Gear Golem. Cannot be special summoned. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. Ancient Gear Knight is a Gemini monster. This card is treated as a normal monster, and yeah, like I said, Gemini monster. You can summon it again to make it an effect. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. Ancient Gear Soldier. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. Green Gadget. When this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Red Gadget from your deck to your hand. Red Gadget. Summon Yellow Gadget from your deck or your hand. a yellow gadget, summon green gadget from the deck or your hand. And then Trojan Horse. When tribute summoning an earth monster, you can treat this one monster as 2 tributes. And finally, the fusion monster, Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. Requires 2 Ancient Gear Golems. No, 1 Ancient Gear Golem and 2 Ancient Gear monsters. This card cannot be supposed to summon except by fusion summon. During battle between this attacking card and a defense position monster whose defense is lower than the attack of this card, inflict the difference of battle damage to your opponent. If this card attacks, your opponent cannot activate any spell or trap cards until the end of the damage step. If this card is destroyed, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear Golem from your graveyard, ignoring the summoning conditions. Whew. Okay, now let's begin. Trying to switch over. We'll have to try it out against Jaden's deck. Crowler. He was an interesting character. He's played off like an antagonist to Jaden, but he's just more of like a scoundrel turn good guy once, you know, time went on through the series. Because he's not exactly like a foil for Jaden. He's just like one of those, like you watch those 80s movies that kind of teach you that it's hard on a kid almost to the point of like an, you know, borderline asshole, but he low-key respects and or loves the kid kind of thing, you know? Use confiscation. Get the higher power ones from the deck, so I can easily get my easier summoned monsters available to me. Yeah, the first duel really set the tone for this this new generation of Yu-Gi-Oh fans. Because I was so, during the first episode, I was already blown away. I know I probably mentioned this before when I was playing around with Jaden's deck, if my audio at the time was alright, which I bet it probably wasn't. But that was probably like that first episode was probably like the best in terms of showing off a passing of the baton from one protagonist from a series that you was with for the longest time up to the new generation. of the time. And talk about like a way to go, man. It, you know, just because this is not a Tim. You would think it was a Tim that, spoiler alert, by the way, when Jaden, episode 1, sitting there run through the streets trying to get to the Duel Academy's entrance exam stuff. He's sitting running late and bumping into Yugioh, who is a little older now, and he's like, yeah, he's a little older now, and then he was, you know, a little bit, you know, well-toned. You know, and then you got that, you know, that voice, that mature voice, he easily grew into eventually. And he's like, so you're a duelist. It took a minute for Jaden to realize who it was. Then the passing the torch moment when he handed Jaden that Wings Reaper card. Like, here, I believe this belongs to you. He's like, thank you, I'll make you proud. And then, you know, you gives him that thumbs up, like, you got this, kid. I won't see you until like the end of your series. Yeah, I loved it. That was like an amazing pilot, an amazing passing of the torch moment. When I do my review of the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX seasons down the line, I know I'm gonna bring that back up again. But I'm telling you, that set the tone for me. I was sold right away for Jaden, especially when his deck of elemental hero cards, pretty much like some kind of form of at least inspiration or inspired by different superheroes in modern comics, like Superman, Batman, Spawn, that kind of situation. But when he's at the entrance exam, you get to meet, you know, these various supporting characters you'll see along the way. First duel out of the entire first episode was against Crowler. And of course, you wouldn't expect, because like I think at the time that was the first time I ever known about ancient gear cards. That was very interesting to me. So we got during that season of Yu-Gi-Oh, or at least in the series as a whole, we were introduced to brand new sets of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that we could not wait until they were released for real life and utilized. But that's definitely awesome. I'll try to guess Camilla. I might lose, but I want to try it. I haven't, like, you know, tried dueling at her in a long while. But yeah, Crowler at that time, he was like not very antagonistic. He's just like that uppity kind of you know, kind of 80s teacher, you know. Didn't think too highly of. Get rid of that. Yeah, didn't think too highly of Jaden. And try to any which way to get him to be expelled. Mostly because he was humiliated, because he was very full of himself. Even like the principal, you know, the first conversation you had with the chancellor, between the chancellor and Crowler, you know, the chancellor had to remind him, like, hey, we're trying to gain more students this year, don't expel them. At least give them a chance this time. So, even though Jaden showed up late, he's in there and like, okay, we'll give this one a chance, so that way I won't be held against me if I, you know, whatever. And he used his own deck, which was not, at least according to them, wasn't like a or the rules wouldn't be fair to new, well, not new students, but people trying to get into the entrance exam. It's not necessarily fair if you're utilizing your own well-crafted deck that you most of the time will win with, instead of the entrance exams type of beginner deck. Yeah. But Jaden, regardless, wipe the floor with him within like at least like 5 turns at the most, 3 to 5 turns, and you get to see like those fusion cards being utilized. And it's like that's the part, just like single summoning was like a main component in the 5Ds era. GX era is utilizing the format of fusions a lot, but Jaden really made them a thing. Dealing with these ancient gear golems is tough. You cannot allow, if someone's using an ancient gear deck, you cannot let them summon the ancient gear golem. At the very least, anything below the strength of an ancient gear golem, you can probably manage it. But once an ancient gear golem is on that field, I wouldn't say it's tough to beat, but you got a heck of a challenge on your hands to try to work around that. But I'm curious to know what you guys think of Dr. Crowler as a character. Like, is he like your favorite character of the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX series, or his deck is probably your favorite deck? I'm curious to know, because I thought he was annoying at first, but by the end of the series, I warmed up to him a bit. To this ancient gear deck. Do I have it on the list? No, I do not, but it's okay. I don't think it's required because I already got a lot of decks to return to do my thing. Let's try against Atticus. Yeah, let's try against Atticus. Not Atticus, what I'm talking about. Yeah. Aster Phoenix. Atticus, my god. I think it's the first time I actually, I don't want to say this will be the first time, but to my recollection, I think this is the first night I actually played a Yu-Gi-Oh game and a Pokemon game together. Two of my favorite animes. This is the first time I actually used Premature Burial card on this game. As long as my ancient gear goes on the field, I mean, I'm still pretty good. This is the last duel. I like the idea of, I like the episode when he dueled against Pegasus, when Pegasus had a few cameos in GX. As a matter of fact, a lot of the, well, not a lot, like at least a good few duel monsters characters made an appearance in GX, like Pegasus, Yugi, Kaiba, you know, in two different variations. Of course, Joey Wheeler by name. I mean, you get an image, but it's like a flashback kind of situation. According to Pegasus himself, besides Astro Phoenix, there was like there's only three top duelists in his eyes, being the creator of the Duel Monster card game. He would, his opinion probably does hold weight. There's Yugi's number 1, Kaiba number 2, Joey Wheeler would be number 3 in his eyes, because I guess during the said flashback, Joey Wheeler was a little bit older, wearing different clothes and everything like that. Looks even more experienced than he did before. He also considered Astro Phoenix being among the few, probably at number 4 as like a great duelist. Okay. Now we're cooking with gas. Viper. Okay. Won't make any plays right now. Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah, this ancient gear deck is devastating. I can see why it was utilized so heavily in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 because it just dominates. Good thing I added Ancient Gear Fist. No losses. This is a decently powerful deck. You don't have to do it this way, but I just felt like the research here and just made this like a deck that would as so close as Crowler would have made it himself. And given the fact that, you know, the way it's built, I'm shocked that Jaden beat him at least 2 times, one in the final season Japanese sub version that I saw, and the first episode of the pilot. I mean, like, no wonder people was worried about him using his own deck in the pilot, because it's like a very hard to beat kind of deck. But Jaden, you know, thanks to his combination of fusion of Wingman and Flame Wingman and the Skyscraper card, he's able to like use the Ancient Gear Golem's power against him pretty much. Because any other day, this would wreck shop on a lot of decks. But anyway, thank you all for joining me. I don't know which deck I'll be trying out next, but we'll wait till next week to do it. But thank you all for joining me. I will see you all next time for some more gameplay. And once again, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff to Talkative Carl on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and of course my Patreon. So take care, and I'll see you all soon. And that's game.